you constrain people to stay home or stay indoors within a particular time. So how do you revert a curfew? How do you force people out of their homes? I don't know any constitutional provisions with which you can force people out of their home. You're not threatening that any business that is locked will be shut down. What if the person is sick? How do you verify if the person is sick or the person is protesting? Like we've established over time since the whole protest in Nigeria became commonplace. Protest is the right of the people under the Constitution of Nigeria. Protest is people's rights. The government has to protect people protesting. All right, it's one of the responsibilities of the state governor to ensure that when people are protesting, they are heard and they are safe. So if people are protesting by saying we're staying at home, the other day we had protests where people were coming out on the streets and the government was clamoring it to be hijacked. Nobody should come out on the street. And now people are protesting by staying at home and we're telling them to come out. You get, but when we look at these things, firstly, why is Nnamdi Kanu still in detention? We've seen and heard about court decrees where he's been granted bail at some point. Lots of issuance from the court has been released. And government officials, for whatever reason, have remained adamant to obey court instruction. Now, like I said, power resides where the people perceive it to reside. The court has jurisdiction to order the release of Nnamdi Kanu, which they've done on several occasions, but he has not been released. Now the government has jurisdiction to order that any shop that is still closed will be locked. Why do you think the people would want to hack into the government when the government is refusing to hack into the court? So you see the negative cycle that we're operating here. As far as I know from information I have, Nnamdi Kanu has been granted at least bail by courts. So if he has not been released on court order, why should his followers not protest? I'm not encouraging protest, but if sitting at home is their way of protesting, can we not morally and constitutionally justify them? Now let's be clear, I am not an advocate of Biafra. I am not. There are several schools of thought, and a lot of Nigerians have their opinions. I am a pro-Nigeria person. I believe in Nigeria, and I believe Nigeria can work if we're serious about making it work. But I am being objective right now. I am being liberal, moral, and constitutional. These people believe in a cause.
All right, Mr. Martins. Now,
and their leader is being detained. Follow the court order, or they are saying they want to protest. I don't see why we need to force them out of their houses.
Okay, the question now is, are the people comfortable staying at home, not doing business at a particular day of the week? Are the people really comfortable? It could be recalled that not just the governor, there was a time that they tried to get this off and people started coming out, but the problem was the fact that they were facing insecurity. Some of them were injured and they couldn't stand it. They fear, even when they gave them all the assurance that they will be protected. But the fear of them coming out was a problem. The idea now is that it's not that the people of the eastern Nigeria are very comfortable staying at home, but because there's a particular group of people that said, we don't want to see you outside. This is us protesting for our leader. And remember that since June 27, 2021, Nnamdi Kanu has been in detention, and this sit at home is almost going to 4 years now. So the people...
So we can say it's 1 tenor at home.
Yeah, exactly. So we can actually say that. And now the governor is saying... But do you think that the governor threatening people with your business is going to be shut down and all of those, do you think that is enough for the people to come out, because right now there is a certain fear in them that you need to give them an accurate assurance before they can possibly step out of their houses.
Even if the governor gives assurances, I don't think people will take his assurances. Do you trust Nigerian politicians and their promises, Immaculata? Do you? Nigerians don't trust their politicians, especially the ones in office. And for good reason. How many promises have been given to Nigerians and broken? How many times have we seen that the life of Nigerians don't seem to be important enough to our political elites? During COVID-19, elections were held in Nigeria. Some state elections were held in Nigeria. I don't want to mention the states, but I believe the people who are watching or listening, they've been following the Nigerian system. They know. During COVID-19, elections were held in some states. And I wondered, being in Rivers State, we know how the lockdown was in Rivers State. It was very jim. We had a no-nonsense governor at that time, and he strictly adhered to lockdown. And we were wondering, did COVID-19 call on phone that Nigerians go ahead with the election and will not infect anybody? If the country had been locked down that hard, how could we still have held elections in some states? But because certain people need to be elected into certain offices, it does not matter if Nigerians come out and contract COVID-19, let the election just hold. So also, the situation, the people at home are not comfortable. There are people in this country that if they don't go out, they won't be able to feed for that day. That's how poor people are. A lot of Nigerians don't have anything in stock. They feed from what they make on daily basis. And on Mondays it's lockdown. I think by now, following 3 to 4 years of Monday lockdown, they would have figured out a way to make savings or to account for the Mondays on Sunday or on Saturday. Because Nigerians will always thrive. Nigerians are hardworking people.
All right, Mr. Okay.
The government threatening them is not going to change anything. Attend to the plight. The plight is Nnamdi Kanu is being held even after the court had said he should be released. If you attend to it, the danger will be removed and people can go about their businesses without the government threatening to do anything to them. Let's attend to the root of the problem, not going to shave the leaves of the problem.
All right, Mr. Martins, if this is the case and the people have already poured out their grievances, the indigenous people of Biafra, that until Nnamdi Kanu is released from the detention, the sit-at home is not going to stop. If they have voices out, we know that the elite out there, they've heard about, they are aware of this. So why are they still keeping him in custody?
Well, that's a question that the government of the day would have to answer for themselves. I cannot presume to know why, because this thing all started during the former administration, and we have a new government that has been in office since May 2023. This is October 2024. That's around a year and 19 months to 20 months. I think it's about enough time for a new government to address the situation. Why they are not addressing it, I have no idea. But it does not tell good of the Nigerian system. It does not tell good of our judiciary, who had ordered that the man should be released on bail at several instances. It does not tell good of the government continuum, where somebody comes in, inherits some important and a nation concerning cases like this one, an entire region is involved, and nothing is being done about it. I cannot speak for the government. I just know it is not a good track record for us. There are certain cases we need to address so that we can move on to better things.
All right, thank you.
We have more interesting things to do.
Thank you so much. And on the next story for today, federal government of Nigeria has urged citizens to avoid portraying the country negatively, warning that such actions deter visit investors and terrorists. and tourists rather. Minister of Information Mohammed Idris made this call during the unveiling of the Nigerian Reputation Management Group, emphasizing that negative comments about the country undermine effort to attract foreign direct investment. President Bola Tinubu had earlier announced $30 billion in investment commitments, but Mohammed stressed that further opportunities could be jeopardized by negative narratives. Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Toga also highlighted the danger of misinformation, citing recent false reports about Nigeria being snubbed in the UN election. He cautioned against fake news and emphasized the importance of accurate reporting. John Mama also echoes concern about Nigerians' image, stressing the need for a radical transformation based on institutional integrity and leadership transparency. He noted that while the government is working to improve conditions, the public still faces significant challenges, especially hunger among the poor. Mr. Martins, let's look at that again. Mr. John Momo said something here. The federal government has actually warn Nigerians not to carry negative information about her country, not to talk bad about Nigeria because it might just send away investors and also those who would want to partner with us. But something here, John Mama says something that the significant hunger in the country might not just let Nigerians to focus. So how do you talk good about something that you know that you are suffering in it? Do you think that this is enough to stop Nigerians from saying what they have to say, doing what they have to do?
Do they necessarily need to say good or evil about Nigeria? Most Nigerians are just saying what they are experiencing in Nigeria.
Exactly.
So it's not a thing of speaking evil about. We're unveiling a National Reputation Management Board. Do we need a National Reputation Management Board? You don't need to manage the reputation of Nigeria. You just need to manage Nigeria, and the reputation of Nigeria will improve by itself. So coming out to threaten Nigerians and say, stop speaking ill of Nigeria. Somebody is hungry and you're telling him to dress properly. Come on now, federal government. We can do better than this. Now, why I know and I admit I will not be vulnerable or shy about it, that a lot of Nigerians exaggerate. A lot of Nigerians exaggerate. Things are not necessarily as bad as some people make them out to be. For instance, I live in Port Harcourt, and when some of my friends call me from outside of Port Harcourt, following the whole political crisis that's going on, they think there's war going on in Rivers State, and they ask, how do they do, how far this one, that one, that one. So things are not as bad as the people outside are hearing it. But the fact is that things are bad. Things that people are hungry. See, Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs starts as sociological needs, as philosophical needs, and physiological needs, and it begins at food, the need for food. When somebody is hungry, there's nothing else you want to tell that person. And when somebody is persistently hungry, think about it. It leads to a lot of social vices. We don't think about safety without thinking about our food first. We need to be full before we think about safety. And the problem in Nigeria is at the basic level, is at physiological level, hunger. So you don't come and tell people to speak well of the country when they cannot find food to eat in the country. Not to talk about looking and getting jobs. So coming out to threaten or to tell Nigeria, especially when the government is spending on things that we are not sure they should be spending on, that's another thing. When there's hunger in the land and the government empathizes, you see that the government is working to ease the burden. It becomes easy to speak better of the government, but then when you check some of the government expenditure, You know, they are constituting a reputation management board. Think of it now. We want to paint a house that is infested by dead rats. And because we want people to see the house from outside, think it's fine. When the foreign investments come, what do you think they will do? Will they stay with this kind of situation? Nigeria is not exactly easy to do business in. Our ease of doing business profile has gone down. Will they stay?
Okay, Martin.
Nationals are leaving.
Honorable Martin. It could be recalled that early this year, a lot of multinational companies actually left Nigeria.
Exactly.
And they cited insecurity, they cited taxation, they cited unconducive environment. So we did not hear anything that's, oh, because Nigerians are talking bad about their country. So why is it that they are coming up now to tell us that Nigerians shouldn't say bad about their country in order for foreign investors to come in? Is it that Nigerians are now the issue of Nigeria, I mean, or the elites? What exactly is happening here? Because the level of insecurity we are facing in the country here, it has not been fixed. But also remember that while other countries were leaving Nigeria, still, I mean, other multinational companies were leaving, because Governor Alex Oti has invested, has fixed Abia State, and people are beginning to see the green light. And some companies equally went to that end in order to invest and also partner, collaborate with them. So is that not enough message to let the federal government to know that multinational companies are not leaving, neither investors are refusing to come in because Nigerians are saying bad things, but because it is as if they have not put anything on ground, they have not seen any green light for them to come and say, yes, we want to invest. Don't you think that that is what it is?
Let me help your statement. I know you're trying to be as fair as you can. It's because Nigeria is not conducive. If Nigeria is conducive, it does not matter, it won't matter much what people say. I was reading a report last week, a report where we were trying to analyze the states that have attracted most foreign investment in Nigeria over the last year. And as expected, obviously, Lagos is on top, followed by the FCT, followed by Abia State.
Is it not part of Nigeria?
Lagos, FCT, Abia State.
Mr. Martin, is that another country?
That's Nigeria. So if you take out the FCT being a federal capital territory,
okay,
and you're analyzing just the states, Abia is ranking second, just behind Lagos State. What does that tell you about what Alex Oti is doing? Irrespective of what people are saying, Alex Oti's government is attracting foreign investments. And I know, being trained as an economist, I know that a lot of investors are watching Abia State to see how they will manage the investment that came. I will not be surprised if the investment doubles or triples by next year, provided that the stewardship of the government remains as it is or improves. You get? So irrespective of what people say, the indices of the government is going to attract or repel foreign investment. Coming out to babble about foreign investment has never gotten us foreign investments. I remember a certain president in Nigeria that went around the international phase negotiating Nigerian debts and negotiating for foreign investments. And at the end of the day, Nigeria got some debt forgiveness that we could not imagine. I don't want to mention the president's name so that it does not seem like I am gaslighting or sugarcoating a certain person. But I know of a certain Nigerian president that went to negotiate for Nigerian debts to be cancelled and succeeded. He did not come to Nigeria telling Nigerians to stop talking about his government. He started working and Nigerians saw that this president is working. I know of a certain president that came up with a certain number of agenda and started pushing it. You know, foreign investment, I can tell you, I can do all the marketing I want, Immaculata, and tell you about my company. But if the people who have come to my company and leave come out with negative feedback, I don't think you will want to come here, irrespective of the nice things I tell you. But it's also possible that somebody can be speaking ill of my company, and you see the results that we're churning out, you will still be interested to check it out. So that's the challenge here. We're talking about, at national level, we're talking about identity management, reputation management. Where is the reputation management in Abia State that attracted those foreign investments? Where is the reputation management in Lagos State that attracted the foreign investments? So that's the thing. If the government works, we won't have to be talking about all these things. If I'm a foreign investor, I won't come to Nigeria to invest because Nigerians said I should come to Nigeria to invest. I will check the indices, the ease of doing business index. I will check it. And I will know how easy it is for me to acquire property in Nigeria. I will know how Nigeria will tax me. I will know the availability and the quality of locally sourced manpower. I will know those things. I will check the profit margin of the companies who have invested there. But when you look at what's happening with Dangote, an indigenous person that puts in so much money to build a refinery, and we see the international show of shame that happened with the Dangote refinery, and you tell me as an international investor to come and put my money, I would think, if you can do this to your Nigerian person, what would you do to me as a foreigner? Those are the indices that people will look at, not what Nigerians are saying or what Nigerians are not saying. So I think the government is getting this thing from the bottom up. They should look at it from the front, rearrange the priorities, and address the issue for what the issue is.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Martins. Let's look at the third story for today. Minister for Women Affairs, Ojo Kennedy Ohaneye, revealed that her ministry has not received any funding, forcing her to personally finance several projects. She made this known during the Empower Her fundraising event in Abuja, emphasizing that the fund raised were for Nigerian women's affairs and not the ministry. She criticized the bureaucratic bottleneck and their ethnic to challenge her effort in court. With the fund raised, Ohaneye planned to acquire 2 buses per state, citing that the FCT and Nasarawa to establish mobile courts and help remove vulnerable girls from the streets. She highlighted the dire situation of abused children, citing that urgent action is needed. The Secretary to Government of the Federation, George Akume, called on stakeholders to support women's empowerment, noting its importance for national progress. All right, Mr. Martins, this is the Minister of Women Affairs complaining that funds has not gone to their pocket, to their wallet so far, which has urged or has forced the chairperson to use her money to fund the project that she has carried out so far. But I just want to understand, do you think that Nigerian women have actually felt the impact of Women Affairs Ministry in the country?
Well, if Nigerian women have not felt the impact of the Ministry for Women Affairs, the answer has become obvious. The minister is coming out to say nothing has been given to her, I've been funding from my pocket. So if we've not felt the impact, here's the reason. And if I should, like I like to do, take the impact from the streets. Makulata, you're a Nigerian woman. Have you?
No, I'm not. I'm still here.
You get so. If we were to take those indices, yeah, you've not. I know my mom has not. There are women in my life who haven't. They don't even talk about the Federal Ministry for Women Affairs because we've not really heard much that the ministry is doing, and it has become obvious. But I would not want to cite back to the appropriation bill, the budget that we're currently running. I don't want to cite back there so that we don't mention billions that will make me feel sick. So if certain billions are contained in a document that is supposed to be the budget that we're running, how come the minister is complaining, or let's not say it's a complaint, the minister is urging for people to support because there are no funds in the coffers? How is the ministry supposed to run without funds?
But she said something crucial here. According to her, that the little she has done is from her pocket. If that has been seen and felt, don't you think that the needful will be done? I'm just curious.
It's a two-way thing. It's a two-way thing because, firstly, I believe her because I also operate certain offices that require funding, and I know sometimes how I use my personal funds to do projects. All right, so I believe her. A lot of Nigerians will not believe her. Majority of Nigerians will not believe her.
Why do you think so? Why do you think they want to believe?
How can you tell us? How can you tell us that you're a minister and you're using your personal? Is it your personal money? Is it not government money? Nigerians talk. Those are the things that people will be saying.
And then
tell us that.
And then Mr. Martin, she also said something striking, that she intended to put 2 buses on the road in each state to pick the girls that are on the streets out there. And I'm wondering how 2 buses will be able to do the needful in a particular state, having known the number of girls.
The buses just have to be laden with a lot of fuel. Even though fuel is expensive, the drivers need to do a lot of. It's possible to work with if that's what's available. You get. If she's putting up 2 buses, it shows initiative. It shows she has plans. She knows what she wants to achieve. If the funds for 300 buses per state come in, don't you think she'll put in 300 buses per state? And if our system could be trusted, we have a couple of vehicle producing manufacturing plants in Nigeria. If our system were working, I believe the ministry could liaise with these people and more buses would be made available. So, see, I heartily understand her plight. It's difficult to have plans and not have funds to implement your plans. But it all comes back to the executive and the chief executive.
All right.
President, sir, the Minister for Women Affairs says money is not entering into coffers. Maybe you made the transfer. I know our banking system can be challenging. Maybe the transfer has been made, but the ministry has not received it. Somebody should check so that they can receive it and implement all these great plans that they have for our women.
Well,
see, the women is the backbone of this economy. Let's be frank with ourselves. Immaculata, when you go to the farms, you find the women. When you go on the street, sometimes I get emotional when I see businesses that women are doing, and you have some money in your pocket, and you analyze the entire business that the woman is doing. You know the money in your pocket can pay for that entire supply. And the woman is going from pillar to post, going everywhere, trying to sell off what she has. Let's say in a tray. Selling off the entire thing is around 5,000 or 7,000 naira, and you have that money in your pocket. It makes you feel bad, because if this woman had access to more, she would be making more. But see, what she has is just 7,000 naira deal, and she would have to canvas the whole day to make 7,000 naira so that she can feel. Our women are the backbone. If we empower them, there's no telling where this economy will go. Who is training the young men? Who is training the young women? The people who will take over tomorrow. These women are doing most of the training now. So we need to empower them, and something needs to be done. Mr. President, the transfer that was made to Ministry of Women Affairs has not reflected in the account. Something should be done.
Okay, so let's believe transfer was made, but they have not received.
Let's believe it's been made.
Well, she didn't talk about that, so we don't know. But according to Honorable Martins,
she will not know.
let's
just assume that's the case, because it will be disdainful. I don't want to use certain words, but it will be disdainful if funds have not been made available at all.
All right.
So okay, I'm just assuming the funds have been made available, but they've not received it.
All right, thank you. Let's look at economic challenges. Civil society organizations have urged President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to prioritize addressing Nigerians' economic hardship, emphasizing that the cabinet reshuffles, which has excited the government, is not a priority for struggling citizens. The CSOs highlighted pressing issues such as rising fuel price, the depreciating naira, food inflation, insecurity, and deepening poverty, which required immediate attention. The African Work for Environmental and Economic Justice noted that while the president has the right to reshuffle ministers, the economic crisis worsened by the removal of the fuel subsidies and confusions over the rules of the NNPC has eroded public trust. NAEJ urged that reshuffling ministers alone won't solve the fundamental problem. Similarly, Action Aid Nigerian's country director Andrew Mamedu stated that cabinet change won't address the deeper issues of policy inconsistencies and lack of efficient governance. He stressed that new ministers need to drive impactful policies, not just to fill position. Jet Farms, Jerry Olawanjao, Waju addressed that the reshuffle is necessary, but criticized Tinubu's initial cabinet choice, calling for capable ministers who can handle crises and engage the public. He also emphasized the need for transparent governance and public assessment of ministers' performance through key performance indicators. Okay, so the Nigerians are aware that the president of Nigeria has had plans to reshuffle the cabinet, and that has been a serious priority for him. But the CSOs have come up to say that this is not a priority that government should be so keen about, but he should rather look at how to address the economic hardship in the country, which Nigerians are suffering. Mr. Martins, what do you think about this, knowing that the issue of fuel subsidy removal, not just fuel, but subsidy removals, has been a serious issue for the people of Nigerians, but Nigerians want to hear about that everything has been settled, but we are hearing a different thing. What's your take on that?
Firstly, let's agree that a cabinet reshuffling is important.
Okay.
However, I have my take on cabinet reshuffling. I told you a couple of times ago that I ran for an executive office.
Okay.
And what I would have done if I, for whatever reason, made the mistake of appointing the wrong people to the wrong office, I will assume that's the case here. People are not delivering as expected. Immaculata, I'll fire the underperforming people. I won't wait to do an elaborate or generalized reshuffle like it's a ceremony. No, if you're underperforming, I'll excuse you from the office and replace you with somebody who is performing well. We don't need to go and have an official reshuffling. It's a bad pick to the initial process of selection of minister, and they've already started criticizing the selection in the first place. Also, will Nigerians perceive this as a reshuffle, or will Nigerians see it as, okay, these people don't chop? One put the next set of people we go chop. Kind of like politically settling people who routed for you, people who ensured that you took office. Nigerians might or will, I can make both to say that Nigerians will perceive it as him, the president, now trying to ensure that everybody is carried along, because these people have had the experience, these other people come. Otherwise, who are the underperforming ministers? We just talked about a minister who is complaining that funds did not come to the ministry. What if she is replaced as Minister for Women Affairs? What if the shuffling removes that Minister for Women Affairs now and replaces is funds going to enter? And if the funds eventually enters, could this one not have done mighty things if the funds were available in the first place? That's the thing of priority. Who are the underperforming ministers? What are the performance indicators with which we're going to do this reshuffling? Because it's our office, it's a Nigerian office. These people are holding these resources in trust for us. So what are the performance indicators? Ministry for Sports, for example, what achievements have we had in the sport field? How are we recruiting the next generation? I stay close to Real Madrid Football Academy here, and sometimes I go around. I don't see any academic thing going on there. I don't see scouting and recruitment from the grassroots level going on there. And it's Real Madrid Football Academy in affiliation with Real Madrid Football Club in Spain. You get that's on. Minister for Petroleum, the president is the Minister for Petroleum and the Minister for State for Petroleum. What's happening to fuel? You took over the government with fuel less than 200 naira. Now is less than 2,000 naira. So what are those indicators? Is the president going to fire himself as Minister for Petroleum? You get?
Exactly.
Now these are the things that we need to see. What are the performance indicators? Not just cabinet reshuffle. And then let's come back to the issue of priority. I would say that recent governments in Nigeria, not just this one, are known. They are reputable for prioritizing things that Nigerians don't consider to be important enough. There's a government in Nigeria that imported grass for cattle. In the first tenure of that government, they imported grass for cattle to consume. While borders were closed, importation of food was not allowed. But we imported grass. Immaculata, if you drive from here to Osun State, you'll find more than 300 hectares of grassland. But we imported grass for cattle to consume. This government started a coastal highway project. East-West Road is in jeopardy. And East-West Road covers most of the states that this coastal project is supposed to cover. East-West Road is still like that, but the coastal highway project is there. This government also bought a brand new jet, and built a brand new house for the vice president, and bought SUVs for ministers who already had, for lawmakers who already had SUVs. So when you check the issue of priority, I don't think they are even interested in that side anymore.
All right, Mr. Martins.
ASU is threatening to strike, and conversations are going on about ASU striking, but we're buying things. So when you check these things, you find that priority, as far as the government is concerned, is different from priority as far as the economy is concerned.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Martins. We have come to the end of this program today.
Sadly.
Thank you so much. I know you have a whole lot to pour out. That is why we'll have to come back again. Good to have you on set.
Thank you for having me. And like I would always say, Nigerians, it will only get better.
All right.
Hold on to it. It will get better.
All right. Join us on all our media platforms. I am Immaculata Irekana. Good afternoon.